Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It is dinner time, and your brother Tony has the dinner table set so you could come in, relax, and enjoy some of this good soul food that I'm going to feed you with tonight, my brothers and sisters. I hope that you're hungry and you're starving for this good soul food, and it's hot and it's fresh tonight. My brothers and sisters, I hope that you had a very good time. I hope that you have room to receive what we're about to talk about this evening. You will be filled after you eat dinner with me tonight at the dinner table. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I speak on relationships. When I speak on relationships, I believe strongly, my brother and sister, that it takes three to have a relationship. It takes God, the man, and the woman. And as far as the position go with a relationship, I believe strongly when you look at the foundation part of the relationship, God had a unique relationship with the man Adam first. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, God represented the woman to the man. Fourth, the man said in the presence of God, bone in my bone, flesh in my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. That is the position I come from. Now, if you're at the dinner table, my brother and sister, and you believe in another type of relationship, you have what is called a free will. What does that mean? God gave you a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do in life. However, God has a prototype and God has a pattern when it comes to a relationship, and that's the relationship basically between a man and a woman. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? Welcome to the dinner table tonight. How you doing, Sister Monica Kim? Welcome to the dinner table. Those of you, if this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, and this is your first time sitting at the dinner table with the brothers and the sisters, I want you to know that I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. If you're on the book and I talk to someone on the tube, you may not see their comments, but I see it, okay? And those of you that are on the tube, I may make some comments to those that are on the book. However, my brother and sister, we are all family, okay? We're all family here. So, brother and sister, if you want to invite any more family members and friends, go ahead and do it right now. Tell them that we got plenty more room at the dinner table and we got plenty of food here. We never run out because this soul food, my brother and sister, it can help you, especially if you're interested in a relationship. How you doing, my mother? And how you doing, my little sister Renee? Y'all together. Welcome to the dinner table. Some more people are here, so we're about to get into it. Now, on the menu for tonight, my brother and sister, we are going to discuss how to tell if someone truly loves you. Okay? Tonight, listen. How you doing, Sister Sonia? Listen, tonight, you don't want to miss this at the dinner table. How to tell if someone truly loves you. My brother and sister, when it comes to how you can tell whether someone truly loves you, it is not complicated. Love is not complicated. You got to understand that love is not complicated. Now, when it comes to being in a long-term relationship, you need to understand how to love the one that loves you, not who you love. I'm going to expound on that shortly. Remember this key phrase. Don't love the one that you love. Love the one that loves you. How you doing, Sister Teresa? Again, remember this. Do not love the one that you love. Love the one that loves you. Now, I know that statement, my brother and sister, it could sound very confusing. Some of you may not have heard of that before. Some of you may do, but I'm going to prove why I made that statement. I'm going to expound to you, not explain to you, the meaning of how to love and to be loved when you meet that special person, my brother and sister. How to love and to be loved will definitely cause you to experience a love that you have never experienced before, okay? So keep in mind, there are 4 types of love. And what do I mean by 4 types? Some people, different people have different points of view on love, and that word love is just floated out there every now and then. But I'm going to break down the 4 types of love. This is the appetizer. The 4 types of love, my brother, sister, is number 1, is Eros love. Now, what is Eros love? Eros love is erotic or passionate love. That's what Eros love, physical love per se. Then you have what is called phileo. Phileo is basically where the city of Philadelphia derives its name from. And we know that the city of Philadelphia is called the city of brotherly love. So that's what phileo is. Then you have what is called storage love. Now, what is storage love? Storage love is the love that a man and woman have towards their parents and for their children. Okay? And then the biggest love that a whole bunch of us know about, but do you really know what the meaning? It is agape love. Now, agape love is the love for mankind. And agape love, in order to have agape love, my brother and sister, you must have a relationship with God. Now, I'm going to list those 4 types of love again, so you will not get confused. Thank you, Sister Teresa. It's Eros, it's phileo, it's storage, and it's agape. Now, when it comes between a relationship between a man and a woman, we could leave the storage part out, okay? So when it comes to a man and a woman, the first thing a man and woman must possess is agape love. And if a man and woman has agape love, how you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. If a man and woman has agape love, it can move into the phileo part and the erotic when it comes to a relationship. So agape love, my brother and sister, in order to have agape love, you brother and you sister, you must have a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. Because why do I say that? Because God is love. That's the primary thing. God is the embodiment of love. So in order, brother, in order, sister, to understand love and how to apply to a relationship, you must. It's important and it's imperative that you are tuned in and you are attached to God through his son Jesus. And when you are in Jesus, the love of God flows in your relationship. How you doing, Sister Flo Hartmore? Welcome to the dinner table. Just like Adam and Eve, when Adam and Eve were first created, before they fell, they was in a unique situation. Adam had a unique relationship with God before Eve was brought onto the scene. Eve was nowhere around. Adam had a spiritual love with God. That's unique. Then, when God caused Adam to go to sleep and God opened the wound up at Adam's side, he reached in, got a rib, he closed the wound up while Adam was asleep without any anesthesia, by the way. And then he stepped to the side and he created the woman. When he created the woman had a unique relationship with God on her own. So God, before either or met one another, they were separate, but yet they were together because Eve came from Adam. We don't know what Eve and God talked about. We don't know that. How you doing, Sister Scott? We don't know. But you better believe God said something to Eve and Eve said something to Adam. So what did God do? He brought Eve over to the man Adam. When he brought the man Adam to Eve, when he brought Eve to Adam, correction, he brought Eve to Adam. When Adam looked at the woman, we are familiar with what he said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I shall call her woman because she came from man. Now, Adam still had a unique relationship with God. Now he had what is called a soul mate. When Eve met Adam, Eve had a spiritual relationship with God. Then she had a soulmate relationship with Adam. Remember, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman before she came from man. And then Jesus went on to say, for this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. So Adam and Eve, they had the best of both worlds. Because you got to understand, my brother and sister, this stuff is deep. The spiritual world overlaps the physical world. I'm going to say it again. The spiritual world overlaps the spirit of the fleshly world, the world, okay? So Adam and Eve, they were living in two different worlds at one time. They were able to relate to God 100% and transparent, and they was able to relate to one another. Remember, God is the one that said it's not good for man to be alone. Even though the man had a unique relationship with God on a spiritual level, he still did not have no one that he could relate to on his own level. Adam had a soul that lived inside a body. But let me back up. Adam had the Holy Spirit of God in him. Adam had a soul in him, which was his mind, his will, and his emotion. Eve had the Spirit of God in her. Also, Eve had a soul, a mind, a will, and an emotion inside of her body. So both of them was able to relate to God spiritually. Both of them was able to relate to one another with their souls. And not only that, their bodies. So the three components of Adam and the three components of Eve equals one relationship. Because one, because you said you got God in the relationship, you have the woman in the relationship, and you have the man in the relationship. So it was one relationship. It was not Adam had one relationship with God and one relationship with Eve. It wasn't that. Eve did not have one relationship with God and one relationship with Adam. No, they had a bond. God was in the midst of their relationship. How you doing, Sister Ingrid? Welcome to the dinner table. Now, when Adam and Eve, before they fell, they had Agape love, which means the Spirit of God was in both of them. Adam knew how to love Eve 100%. Eve knew how to love Adam 100%. Adam knew how to respect Eve 100%. Eve knew how to love Adam 100%. They both respected one another 100%. God was in the middle of their relationship. So when God was in the middle of Adam and Eve relationship, they were able to love one another on an agape level, spiritual. Then once they understand the spiritual part of it, the phileo part came in, which they became friends. They were friends. They served God together. They did not serve God separately. Adam, the man, and Eve, the woman, they served God together. If you all can remember, when God talked to Adam and Eve, he did not have no separate conference with Adam. When Eve was formed, he did not have no separate conference with Eve. When he brought Eve to Adam, remember they were one flesh. So when God talked to Eve and Adam, he addressed both of them as Adam. He did not call the woman Eve. When he said Adam, he was talking to both of them. You had the female version and you had the male version. Because you got to understand, Eve did not get her name until after the fall. And I'm not talking about the season. I'm talking about when they fell from grace because they disobeyed God. That's when Adam called her Eve. Prior to that, Adam called her a woman. Why did he call Eve a woman? Because she came out of his womb, and also she had a womb herself, so she can conceive. You understand? That's how it was. She was woman. She was part man, but she had a womb. And I'm not talking, she did not get shot. She did not get stabbed. She had a womb to reproduce. She was the female version of a male. That's why they call Adam a male, and they call Eve a female. So when God talked to both of them, they was together as one. They loved God together spiritually, and they worshiped God together spiritually. And then they were soulmates. Their soul clinged together. Adam and Eve's mind was clinging together. Adam and Eve's will was clinging together. Adam and Eve's emotions were cleaving together. Therefore, they were friends. God was their original friend. God was their best friend. Eve was Adam's second friend, which was still his best friend. Eve and God were the best of friends. Adam was Eve's best friend secondly. You understand? So that's how it is. They were the best of friends. Now, what would a friend do? According to according to the Gospel of John 15:13, Jesus is doing the talking. As it is written, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. That is the epitome of love. You have to be willing to lay down. Thank you, Cheryl. You have to be willing to lay down your life for your friend. My question, brother, if you're in a relationship with a woman, when I say a relationship, are you serious about a woman? Are you committed to a woman? Are you in a covenant relationship with a woman or moving towards it? Sister, my question to you, are you serious about a man? Are you in a committed relationship with a man? And to say it differently, like I said towards the man, are you in a covenant relationship with a man? If you, brother, if you, sister, are not moving towards the covenant relationship, I know you all hear me saying that all the time. The reason why I said that, because God does not want no partial relationship between a man and woman. God wants you, brother, to commit. He wants you to be serious with your relationship to him. He wants you to commit to him, and he wants to be in a covenant relationship with you. And he wants you to be in that same way when it comes to a woman. Sister, the same thing applies. God wants you to be in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship with you. And if you are in a relationship with a man, he wants you to have that same type of mindset when it comes to a relationship with a member of the opposite sex. Now, we're going to focus on the agape love. Brother, you do not have a manual of how to love a woman. How you doing, Sister Parker? Sister, you don't have a manual how to love a man. Sister, you don't have a manual how to respect a man. Brother, you do not have a manual on how to respect a woman. There's no way possible that a man and a woman could be soul mates on a higher and deeper level unless God is in the relationship. If God is not in the relationship, you brother and you sister, you going to miss a thing called peace. You're going to miss what is called peace that passes all understanding. When it comes to agape love, my brother and sister, the fruit of your relationship will be two main fruits that grow off the tree of love. But keep this in mind. Remember, I said this. Earlier, I said this. I said, don't love the person that you love. Love the person that loves you. I'm going to say it two more times. Listen carefully. Don't love the person that you love. Love the person that loves you. One more time. Do not love the person that loves you. Love the person that love the person that loves you. But you don't love the person that loves you. Now, what do I say? That sounds confusing, right? That terminology, and I have to tell you where it comes from. My great-grandfather, Eddie Stewart, that was one of his phrases. Now, what does he mean by that? You see, if you just love a person that loves you, my brother and sister, most of the time you are doing the chasing and pursuing in the relationship, whereas that person is on a pedestal. Now, listen to what I'm saying. If you are the one that's doing the loving, you have put yourself down here, and you subconsciously, and you may not realize it, you made that man or woman an idol. So you are worshiping that man or woman. That means that you running after them because he or she is not giving you what you want, what you need. He or she is draining your energy. When it comes to most relationship, my brother and sister, it's going to be one in that relationship that love more than the other. In most relationship, one going to love more than the other. You understand that? Now, if you have God in a relationship, that thing is going to balance. So the one that loves you, brother, let's say the brother, if a woman loves you, she's going to show you some things because it's going to be manifested. If a woman loves you, brother, that particular woman, she is going to respect you. And when she respects you, she is willing to follow you as you follow Christ. She is going to be molded into that Proverbs 31 woman. She's not going to be perfect. You cannot complete her. She was already completed before God showed that woman to you, or before God brought that woman to you. You do not make the woman complete. She was already complete before she met you because she had a relationship with God. Sister, the same thing. When it comes to this man, you got to understand this. That man will love you if God is in the relationship. He doesn't know how to love you, how you need to be loved. Not how you want to be loved, but how you need to be loved. He will not put you on a pedestal, but he will love and respect you to the point whereas he will lay down his life for you because he got that from God. Because what does it say again in John 15:13? It said, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. This man, sister, see you as his best friend after God. And vice versa, brother, this woman see you as her best friend after God. What I'm talking about now, the world cannot receive this. You know why the world can't receive it? Because what I'm saying would be crazy to the world. The world have their form of love. The type of love what the world really focus on is the Eros love. And the Eros love is the passionate love, the erotic part, the sexual part. That's what drives most relationships. Now, when you have passion in a relationship, passion is more than the physical love of the relationship. If you have passion for something, my brother and sister, you're going to be focused on reaching your goal. Now, when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, you're focused on loving that man and woman forever and a day. Sister Parker said, why does it seem like you love a man more once you leave him, or is it just the confusion of a soul tie? Sister Parker, a soul tie is an unhealthy relationship. There's a difference of a soul tie and a soul mate. When it comes to a soul mate, that's all God. When it comes to a soul tie, that's all Satan. You see, when God calls a man and woman to be soulmate, it's on the inside. That's the mind, the will, and emotion is bonded together. When it becomes a soul tie, it is basically a man or a woman is confused because they confuse love with sex. Even though the physical part could feel good, on the inside, that man and woman is still empty because that's all Satan can offer them. Now, that's why a lot of men and women say, we're going to make love. Let me tell you this, my brother and sister, no man or no woman can make love. How can you make love? You can make a cake, you could make a hamburger, but you cannot make love. Why you can't make love? Because love, God is love. So therefore, a man or woman cannot make love to one another. The only thing a man and woman can do is express love to one another. Now, how does that man and woman express love to one another? They have to have a relationship with God through Jesus. And when they have a relationship with God through Jesus, God's spirit, and I have said it before, it is living on the inside of that man and woman's temple. What is the temple? The temple is the man and woman's body. What's on the inside of that man and woman's body? A soul. So the spirit guides that man and woman by communicating with that man and woman's soul. Some people say that good communication keeps a relationship together. That is one of the biggest lies. I ain't said that was the ultimate lie, but when a man and woman say good communication keep relationship together, that's a lie. A man and woman having a relationship with God first, good communication is a byproduct of a man and woman having a relationship with God. And that's how in communication is more than verbal. Communication is verbal and it is also non-verbal. Non-verbal represents what a man and woman do so his or her mate can see it. That's where it get to just because of you. Just because God put you in a relationship with me. Thank God he brought you to me. Thank God you found me. So therefore, just because it's you, I love you. I love you not for what you have, but who you are. The world loves people based on conditions. The devil's son and the devil's daughter love you based on conditions. Because you can see people that say, if you do this, I will love you. If you don't do this, I will not love you. If you mess up, I'm out the door. So it's conditioned. That's very immature. A Christian love is based on the Agape love, which is unconditional love, and a key word is sacrifice. A man and woman that coming from the dark side, they do not understand the word sacrifice. Now, what is the meaning of unconditional love, and what is the meaning of sacrifice? Unconditional love, my brothers and sisters and friends, is defined as known affection without any limitations or love without conditions. And the word sacrifice is defined as the loss of something, or you give up something, usually for the sake of a better cause. So when a man loves a woman, from God's perspective, he sacrificed. When a woman loves a man, she sacrificed. That whatever that man whatever in that man way besides God, he will sacrifice it for the woman that he loved, other than God. When that woman loves a man, she will sacrifice other than her relationship with God, because there's nothing between that man and woman other than God. If a man or woman cannot love one another unconditionally, what does unconditional mean? That means that you do not keep score. When you don't keep score, that means it's easy for you to forgive your mate when he or she falls on his or her face. Because that man is living, he walking after the spirit, but he live in the flesh. That woman are walking after the spirit, but she live in the flesh. Let me tell you what you get and what you get, sisters and brothers, when you get in a relationship. Brother, when you see that woman, you got to listen to it. If she's from God and God bring that woman to you, you see the spirit of God in her, because God's spirit going to illuminate that woman, and you going to be able to see Christ, the hope of glory, in that woman. And vice versa, sister. When that man finds you, you going to see Christ in that man. Christ is going to illuminate that man. You will see the hope of glory in that man, which is Christ. Brother, you going to love that woman not for how she look or how fine she is or what she has. You going to love that woman for what she is on the inside, her soul, but you also see Christ in her. The same thing, sister. When you look at this man, you going to love him based on his spirit and his soul, not for what he has. The world, I look at, what do you bring to the table? I'm going to bring 50% to the table. You're going to bring 50% to the table. That's crazy math. When a man and a woman is in the spirit of God, that man and woman love 100% or working towards 100%. They do not keep score. They don't bring up dead issues. When a man and a woman is in a relationship with Christ, if that man and woman have a dispute in the relationship and it get resolved, a mature man and a mature woman do not raise the dead. No man can resurrect a woman. No woman can resurrect a man. So what's dead supposed to stay dead. A very immature man and a very immature woman like going to the graveyard. What do I mean like going to the graveyard? An immature man and an immature woman, they go to the graveyard of unforgiveness. They like to bury stuff, but they like to dig up, open the coffin or memory, and pull up the dead. Brother, you do not want to be in a relationship with a woman that brings up stuff all the time. She's very immature. Sister, you don't want to be in a relationship with a man that brings up dead issues. She's very immature. When it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, that man and a woman, they have to grow up. Yes, it might come to your mind. Case in point, you, brother, and you, sister, you have lost a loved one, right? You lost a loved one. When you went to the funeral, then you went to the cemetery. When you went to the cemetery, all you seen was a dead body getting placed in the ground. Let me tell y'all something. This is a sidebar. Listen to me, brother and sister. And some of you all, you're probably going to get hurt by what I'm about to say, but it's the truth. When your loved one dies, my brother and sister, the day your loved one died is the day he or she left. I'm going to say that 2 more times. The day your loved one died, he or she left that day. The day your loved one died, he or she left that day. When your loved one's soul left his or her body, the spirit went back to God automatically. So that person that you love, his or her soul is still living. The question is, where is that man or woman's soul living? Everybody do not go to heaven. I don't care what people say. Most of the funeral that you go to, people say, well, he with the Lord. And you all see that thing, R.I.P., rest in peace. He or she rest in peace. That's a lie. Everybody do not go to heaven. All your family members are not going to heaven. All your friends are not going to heaven. All your work people, all your friends, everybody is not going to heaven. The Bible say that. It's just going to be a small few that walk that narrow road. Now, why am I saying this? The day that loved one left, my brother and sister, and when you go to the funeral, that person that you're looking at in the coffin, he or she is not there. They cannot hear you. They can't hear you. They're gone. They have left the physical world and they are in the spiritual world, depending on what decision they made, whether they accepted Christ or not. So some of your loved one, my brother and sister, they either with Christ now, waiting for their incorruptible body, or they right now suffering. I know none of you don't want to think your mama or dad or sister or brother or child suffering, but that's a fact. It depends on what they did with Christ, but we don't know. But when you went to the cemetery and that person's body went into the ground and you left with a memory of how that person looked, the outside body. But the person that you love, the soul, it lives on. It's not in that ground. It's the body. So why am I saying that? Your loved one, my brother and sister, made the spirit, the soul, and the body. So why would you, after you go home from the cemetery and you get in your car and you go to the cemetery and you start talking, your loved one do not hear you. He or she is not there. He or she is with the Lord or somewhere else. Now, let's say you want to really get close to your family member or friend that deceased. Are you going to get a shovel and dig 6 feet down, open up the casket, and you see bones? You see worms. So you seeing bones and you seeing worms. It's not the same that you seen the last day you were at the cemetery. That's not the person you remember. You seeing just dead man or dead woman bone and worm that ate up the flesh. Do you see yourself want to see that? How you doing, Sister Nat? Do you see yourself want to see dead man bones or dead woman bones with maggots and worms? Do you want to see that? That's what I'm talking about when a man and woman is immature when it comes to a relationship. Why have a disagreement and you both say, well, you come to a compromise and you say, I'm going to bury this. We finished with this issue. So you moving on. Then another issue come up and then you, brother, or you, sister, want to bring up a dead issue. It's just like going to the cemetery. It doesn't make no sense. Why you want to go to the cemetery, dig 6 feet down, open the coffin, and you see dead stuff. That's why an immature man and an immature woman, they go and dig up the past stuff. And that's what I'm telling you, my brother and sister. Do not get in a relationship with a man or a woman that have unconditional love. Because if you get in a relationship with a man that have a man or woman that have unconditional love, he or she is gonna always throw it up in your face. And that, to tell you the truth, let me give you a little insight. That man and woman, they are linked to Satan. Because Satan is he is the accuser of the brethren. What do you all think Satan do most of the time? Besides picking at you, and me. What else you think he does? He go up to heaven. Some of you people don't think Satan go up to heaven. Yes, he still can go, but he can't live there. Why would Satan go to heaven? Let's look at Job. In Job, it said that the sons of God was there. They were having a meeting of God. Then it says Satan was there. It called him by his name. It says Satan. It didn't call him Lucifer. So if Satan was there, that meant that he still can go to heaven. Why would Satan go to heaven? Because he is the accuser of the brethren. He is there to accuse you before God. You see, God, I told you how he or she, look, they doing this, they doing that. That's all Satan does. He always point out your flaws to God. He point out your flaws when you fall on your face and everything. That's the same thing that his daughters and sons do if you're in a relationship with him. They're gonna accuse you of stuff. They're gonna always throw stuff in your face. That is a sign that that man or woman got fleas. I have told you all about that. When you get with a man and woman that want to dog you out, they're going to put those fleas on you. Why would you want fleas on you? Don't get with these type of people. A mature man, a mature woman, they love you agape way. They love you based on how God working through that man or woman. Agape love is you love that person because you understand that he or she, how you doing, Sister Angie? You understand that he or she is a human. Brother, you understand that female, she's a human woman. Sister, you understand that man is a human man. You understand, even though that man and woman follow the spirit, he or she have a tendency to rebel against God. Yes, brother, that woman that you got, she's a Christian, but she's still going to fall sometime. You got to understand this, brother, before you want to go to the courthouse and divorce her. She's going to fall sometime. Sister, you need to understand it. That man that's a Christian, you got to understand this. He's going to fall sometime. Why am I saying this? Agape love like this. Brother, when you fall and you go to God to ask for forgiveness, do you not want God to forgive you like that? Do you want God to bring up one of your transgression against you? No, you don't. Sister, when you go to God and ask God to forgive you, do you not want God to forgive you like that too? Do you want God to bring up some wrong stuff that you did in your face? You don't want that. So, brother, sister, if you can understand that you want God to love you unconditionally, why you cannot understand that you're supposed to love your mate unconditionally? Don't you know, brother, and don't you know, sister, we have hurt God. I have hurt God. I have disobeyed God. I have fell on my face. I have disappointed God. And so have all of you. So how can you not forgive that man or woman that's in your life? No, Angela said, good evening, Brother Tony. Angela Bourne, if you still don't see my name. No, sister, I don't see your name, but I know it's you. I know it's you now. But listen, brother and sister, if you have unconditional love, that shows that you are following the spirit of the Lord. It's not that you giving that man or woman an alibi or something to do wrong. It's not that. You can only hope that he or she doesn't do wrong, but you can't stop them because that man and woman, they have a free will. So with that man and woman free will, they have to exercise unconditional love. Anybody that put conditions in a relationship, that's no. And then to sacrifice. How much are you willing to sacrifice, brother, for that woman? Sister, how much are you willing to sacrifice for that man? Are you willing to sacrifice your time doing something else besides your time with God? Are you willing to sacrifice something that you like to do for and others do something for that man or woman. See, what does sacrifice mean? It is find the loss of something you give up for the sake of the other. You cannot say that you love a man or woman if you don't have these two things: unconditional love and sacrifice. Going back to what I said earlier about don't love the one that you love the one that loves you. The person that loves you, my brother, so you got to be able to look beyond. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying settle with no one, my brother and sister. I'm not saying settle. But if you are a child of God, a man or woman, you have to look beyond what that person have. What you see with your eyes, what you hear with your ear. It's about what's inside of that man or woman. Does that man or does that woman have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ? Now, that other stuff, that's secondary. What happens if that man or woman, if you love them for what they could do for you, what they have, and they lose it? You're going to be gone. You're going to be gone if you love a person for what he or she has or what they can do for you. You got to look, my brother and sister, that man or woman has a soul. You're supposed to love that man and woman's soul to the point where you want that man and woman to be with you when you be with Christ in the end. That should be your main focus. I want this person that I'm in a relationship with to have a relationship with God first, then me. If that man and woman have a relationship with God through Jesus first, you better believe that man and woman going to have a good relationship with you. Because they understand what love is. They understand that God is love. And they understand that God gave his best. When you sacrifice, you give your best. What do I mean by that? When God the Father loved us, he gave us his best. He gave us his son, Jesus the Christ. God gave us heaven's best. And that was Jesus. You see, God gave up his only begotten son for us. He sacrificed his son Jesus for us. What are you willing to sacrifice, brother, for a woman? Sister, what are you willing to sacrifice for a man? Greater love have no one than to lay down one life for a friend. Brother, is that woman your friend? Sister, is that man your friend? Or is your friend a person that you grew up in grammar school or high school or college, or your colleague or your girlfriend or your boyfriend? You all got to understand, not all of you, in general, you got to learn what a friend is. A friend will stick to you closer than a brother. That's what the Bible say. Is he or is she not your friend or not? You got to understand. If you understand unconditional love and sacrifice, my brother and sister, you, my brother, and you, my sister, truly love that person. Because the person that loves you, you're going to see unconditional love. You're going to see sacrifice. He or she might not have everything that you like. But brother, so let me tell you this. You don't come complete. That man or woman doesn't come complete. You're not going to get a 100 perfect person. He or she doesn't exist. No perfect humans exist. It was just one. As a matter of fact, it was three. It was Adam and Eve once upon a time. They knew what perfection was on a physical level, on a spiritual level. Jesus knew what perfect is on a spiritual and flesh level. We don't understand what perfect is. The only glimpse of perfect is Jesus. Brother, you need to, whatever top 10 list you say that woman need to have, you need to ball that paper up and throw it in the trash can. And likewise, sister, this top 10 superficial list that you have with a man with me, you need to throw it away in the trash. The first thing a man and woman need to be able to be aware have is a relationship with God through Jesus. If you don't get that, you do not get a man, sister. Sister, if you don't get it, you don't get a man. Brother, you don't get a woman. When you love someone that loves you, that's the person that you invest your time in. Listen to what I'm saying. The person that loves you, you invest your time in that person. And when you invest that time in that person, so you got to understand this, my brother and sister, love is not based on your emotions. Love is not based on your emotion. Love is based on doing what is right. Then your emotions. Your emotions, my brother and sister, goes up and down. Right does not go up and down. I'm going to give you a situation. Let me tell you this. You see that lady up there? I always get it wrong. See that lady up there? Let's say, I tell you that I love her, she loves me. I'm going to give you a good example. I love her, she loves me. Most of the time, we have a good relationship. Majority of the time, we have a good relationship. What happens is one day it rains and we have a major disagreement. And it's raining outside. But for some reason, she and I, we're bumping heads. We're bumping heads. We got one umbrella. Let's say, for instance, we plan on going somewhere together, but we got a major disagreement. But we got one umbrella. On a good day, and it's raining, I will hold the umbrella and we will walk to the passenger side. I will open the door for her and she would get in. When she get in, she will reach, then I go around to the driver's side and I get in. That's on a good rainy day. But what about a bad rainy day? We have this major blow up. I have an umbrella and she will be accustomed to me walk around to the passenger side, open the door. But this particular day, I'm pissed off at her. I walk her around to the driver's side and I let her open her own door and I walk and I let her get wet and I walk around to my door because I'm in my feelings. Now, say I could do that. I could let her get wet. Even though I'm walking around to the driver's side with the umbrella, I could let her get wet because I'm pissed off. I'm in my feelings. Or I could still be in my feelings and I take her around to the door, open the door, and I'm still pissed off at her, but I don't want her to get wet. You follow what I'm saying? I don't want her to get wet. And you see, that will be the flesh part. That would be the flesh, because if I want her to get wet, that's the flesh. If I don't want her to get wet, that's the spirit. You follow what I'm saying? You see, I can't go by my feelings. Let me tell you another thing. She made breakfast for me. She made breakfast for me, right? So she'll say she'll bring the table. She'll bring the table to the bedroom. Now the table already be set up. She will bring the food and she'll flip on the light and say, time to get up and eat breakfast. That's what she'll do. What if she pissed off at me and the table is set in the bedroom, but she pissed off at me and she don't make breakfast? She in her feelings then. But what if she pissed off at me and still bring the breakfast and put it there? She's still doing what is right, even though I pissed her off. How you doing, Sister Greta? You follow what I'm saying? So that's what you get, my brother and sister. You have to be mature when it comes to a relationship. You love the person that is loving you. You see, if a man and woman say that he or she loved the Lord, guess what the Lord say? You will keep my commandments. Even when you don't feel like it, you still do what the Lord say. You don't feel like it. Just think if the Lord dealt with us based on how he felt. What if we made the Lord angry, and based on he angry us, he take us out like that, based on his feeling? You see, the Lord don't deal with us based solely on his feeling. And you can't love no one based on your feeling, my brother and sister. I know when you look at TV, I know when you look at the movies, I know when you listen to CDs and all that kind of stuff, I always talk about that fake love. It's all about the emotions. You can have emotion when you love a man or woman. You can have emotion, but you can't, because feelings go up and down. That man and woman that loves you, that's the person that you love. That's the person that's going to walk by your side. That's the person that's going to be there when you need him or her to be there. When you get sick, when you lose your job, when somebody die and you hurt, all the tragedies that come in your life, that person that loves you going to be there for you. He or she is going to sacrifice and be there for you. That's what love is. It comes from God. It's unconditional. And it's sacrifice. The person that you love, you're going to get fleas. You're going to get hurt because you're running after the person that you love. He or she is running after someone else. Brothers, if you have to keep buying and buying and buying a woman's affection, but she's not giving you what you crave for, but you call yourself love her, you put that woman on a pedestal. You hoping one day she could see that you paying her bills. You hoping one day she could see that you getting her hair done. You hope that she could see one day you getting her nails done. You hope and see that she could tell that you paying a car note. You hope that she see that you paying her house note and buying food and stuff. You hope that she could you give her money to go on no girl trip. You hoping. And she ain't doing nothing but patting you on the head. Some of you sisters, you hoping because you give him somewhere to stay. You sister, you giving him money. You sisters trying to make a boy into a man, Boys to Man. He's not in that singing group, Boys to Man. He never been in that group. But you trying to make a boy a man. You lay on your back and you think because you having physical expression of love with this man that's going to get him. But his attention really somewhere else. He just looking for you, just a temporary stop. Sister, brother, you just a temporary stop while they running after other people. And you could tell he or she doesn't love you because they're not meeting your needs. They're not meeting your mental and emotional need. Jesus addressing your spiritual need, but this person is not addressing your soul needs, to be a soulmate. But the person that loves you, he or she is going to invest in you with time. That's the key thing. They're going to invest time in you. They're not going to put you on a schedule. They're gonna move other people out of the way for you. They may call their friends and stuff, say, look, we're gonna have to do this another time because I got something to do. That's called sacrifice. You might be in a jam and they in a jam. They need you to help them. Something wrong has happened. You may have to, are you going to help them or are you going to let them sink? You see, the thing about it, brother, a man and woman that loves you, if you were on a boat together and he or she see you sinking, he or she will reach out to get you, even if they can't swim. You see that? Even if they can't swim, they're going to help you. You all remember that movie called The Titanic? Leonardo DiCaprio was in the movie The Titanic. I think that movie was about 3 hours. Do you all remember that scene where he was in love with this young lady, right? He preferred that she be on this floating device and he was in the water and he was cold. The ice was cold. But he loved that woman. He would rather for her to live than him. And what happened? He got frostbite and he sunk and died. That was sacrifice because he loved her. Did he want to die? He probably didn't, but he would think about her more. If you all remember that scene from the Titanic, that's a scene that represents sacrificial love. When Jesus died on the cross, that was sacrifice. Don't you know, my brother and sister, Jesus had to be beaten. Jesus got his beard tore out. Can you imagine that? You got a beard and they're going to grab your beard and tear your hair out of your face. Can you imagine they had this little weed thing that had spikes in it and they pushed it on Jesus' head. Those spikes went into Jesus' scalp and he started bleeding. Can you imagine Jesus getting beat? They said Jesus got beat so bad that you could not recognize his face. Can you imagine Jesus getting beat with a whip? He got beat with this device called a cat of nine tails. What is that? It's a whip. In this whip, there were some stones, there was some glass, there was some metal in each part of those laces that was on the whip. It wasn't no whip that had one string on it. It was a whip that had different strings on it, but it had stone, glass, metal, anything that could embed in your skin and pull your flesh. Jesus, after he was beaten, after his beard was pulled out, they took Jesus' clothes off. When I say off, not what you see on TV, they took Jesus' clothes off. So he was exposed. They hit Jesus on the back about 40 times. And every time they hit Jesus on his back, when those scripts went into Jesus' back, and when the man pulled it back, flesh came back with it. Every time they hit Jesus, flesh kept coming out. So Jesus had an open wound on his back. Not only could you recognize Jesus, he was beyond recognition. He was naked. They didn't care about that. They beat him on, and not only that, then they're going to put this wooden device on Jesus' back. They didn't give Jesus no anesthesia. They put this wood device on Jesus' back and wanted him to take it to Calvary. Jesus tried to do it. He tried to do it. But he was in the flesh. He was God, but he was in the flesh. When he fell down, then one of the Roman soldiers reached over and got this man to help Jesus pull the cross. So this man bared the cross with Jesus. They took Jesus up on the cross, Golgotha or something like that, and then they laid this piece of wood down. They stretched Jesus' arms out. They had spikes, and they put a spike in this hand, and then they beat it in with a hammer. They beat it in, and it tore through his flesh. Then it went to this hand, and they put a spike there and beat it in. Then they went to his feet, and they crossed his feet, and then they put some spikes in, and they nailed his feet. Then not only that, they had some ropes on the cross, and then they pulled the cross up because it was a little hole there, and they made sure that the bottom part of the cross went to the hole. So they pulled the cross up while Jesus was there, and the cross just fell into the ground. So that was yanking Jesus' flesh, right? Just picture that. Jesus was sacrificing for all of us. Not that little stuff that we see on TV. Not only that, Jesus was butt naked on the cross. Not that little diaper stuff that you all see on TV. Jesus was naked. They wanted to embarrass him. Jesus looked down. And when Jesus looked down, Jesus seen only one of his disciples, one of the 12. The only one that called Judas had killed himself. Peter and the rest of them, they were scared. They were not there. It was just one of Jesus' friends that was there, and that was John. And not only that, it was women that followed Jesus. The women were not afraid to be with Jesus. Women stuck with Jesus more than men stuck with him. You had Jesus' mama there, and you had some more women that followed Jesus. Where were the men? He just had one, and that was John. John was considered Jesus' best friend on earth. That's why they call him the beloved disciple. He was the closest to Jesus. The closest in the circle was Jesus, Peter, and Andrew. That was Jesus' closest circle. But John was the closest. Like you, brother and sister, you may have 3 friends, but only one of them going to be closer to you than the others. And that was John. Jesus on the cross in all that pain. And not only all that pain, what did Jesus say? He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he's sacrificing. Just check this out. Jesus is sacrificing. And not only was he sacrificing, Jesus looked at his mama, Mary. Joseph, Jesus' stepfather, was dead. Jesus had 4 brothers, and their names are in the Bible, and he had some sisters. It did not say how many sisters that he had. If you don't believe me, Google it. Jesus had 4 brothers, and that was between Mary and Joseph. God was Jesus' natural son. Joseph was Jesus' stepfather. So Jesus on the cross and all that pain, and when Jesus seen his mother, and then he seen John by his mother. And I imagine some of Jesus' brothers and sisters probably were there. But what could they do? So Jesus looked at his mama, and then he looked at John. And while Jesus was on the cross, this is what he said. He said, Mother, behold thy son. He was talking about John. And then he said, behold your mother. And it said that disciple took Mary home with him. So what that tell you, Jesus was thinking about his mama while he was on the cross. He was thinking about the world when he said, Father, forgive them for what they know not what they do. And then he was thinking about his mama, because in those days, they didn't have no Social Security. So John took care of Jesus' mama from that day on. That's what the Bible say. Now, the question is, why didn't Jesus not ask his brothers and his sister to take care of his mama? Check that out. Why did Jesus not ask his brothers and sisters? Because he seen something different in John. Remember, the Bible said a friend sticking to you closer than a brother. So his best friend, John, took care of Mary. Now, the thing that really got Jesus is when God, his father, had to separate from him. That was the greatest hurt Jesus ever experienced, because during that time, Jesus and God the Father, they was in eternity. But at this one time in history, God placed all the sin, God the Father placed all the sins of the world, past, present, and future, on his son Jesus. And then what did Jesus say? He asked God, he said, why have thou forsaken me? So Jesus experienced what it feels like to be lonely, not alone, lonely. That particular time, God had to turn his back on his son. He had to turn his back because he couldn't look at him. That's sacrificial love. When you could take stuff and you thinking about other people, that's what Jesus did. Brother, do you love a woman to that degree? Sister, do you love a man to that degree? Thank you, brothers and sisters, for being a part of the dinner table tonight. I hope that you all enjoyed the meal. You can invite some more of your family members and friends to the next dinner table, because we're going to always have some good soul food. We got some plates. You go ahead and load your plate up, because your brother Tony, he's going to clean up the kitchen area, right? And he's going to clean up the dinner table. You don't have to do nothing. I'm just glad to be here with you, brothers. I'm just glad to be here with you sisters. Remember, if you're on the book, you can like, you can share, and you make comments. If you're on the tube and you're not a subscriber, some of you are subscribed, but if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And then the subscribers and those that are going to be a subscriber, hit that notification. So when it comes to come to dinner, you will see that it's dinner time, and make your comments, share, and like. That's all you have to do. But brothers and sisters, you invest in a person that loves you. Did not Jesus love us? But we love the world. We were following after the world. We were following the course of the world. We were not even thinking about Jesus. But Jesus got our attention. It said faith come through hearing. So you heard the Lord. You heard the knock on your door, the door of your heart. The Spirit of God was wooing you. It was courting you. And the Lord said, I came to seek and save that which was lost. The Bible clearly said that no man goes seeking after God. So if you hear a man and woman say, I'm going looking for God, I went and I find God. No. The Lord finds us. The Lord approached us. When you look in the book of Acts, when they were talking about a group of people that got saved, it said that the Lord saved. The Lord saved. The Lord saved after you hear about him. Then when you hear about him, the Lord opened up your heart so you could receive it. It's just like Lillian. Lillian was a rich lady. She sold what was called purple. That was some expensive material. When Paul met Lillian, the Bible clearly say that the Lord opened up her heart. She didn't open up her heart herself. It said that the Lord opened up her heart so she was able to hear what Paul said, and that's how she got faith. Faith comes from hearing. That's where you get faith from, when you hear it. That's how it's done. My brother and sister, when you hear the Lord, he's calling you all the time. Will you give him attention? You see, you got to get to a point, my brother and sister, where you got to stop running after the world and love who love you, which is Jesus. That's the point of this story. Love Jesus. Don't love who you love. Why keep running after the world? It got an end date. It got an expiration date. Why are you running after? Why are you loving the world? Turn around and love the one that loved you, which is Jesus, the Son of God. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. I hope that you all have a good night, and I hope that you enjoyed the dinner, okay? I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Peace out.